3, 2. This one is going to be amazing. I can tell you this already. This one is going to be amazing. So we've had unique situations this morning. We've had some technical stuff going on this morning. It's been super fun already this morning. And that always tells me when I run into that type of stuff, that tells me that we're about to bring the fire. So sit back, strap in. Today's episode, hashtag Rise and Grind, is going to be one for the books. Let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? You see, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts. Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to 1, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Friday. That's right, Friday, July 2nd, 2021. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Friday, July 2nd, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Hey, I woke up a little bit early this morning, or a little bit earlier. I was actually late because my phone, for some reason, just completely zonked out. It was plugged in, fully charged, wouldn't turn on. Crazy. I was looking for cords, trying different cords. Finally got the thing to turn on this morning. But as I opened my hashtag Rise and Grind planner, as I always do, there was a quote at the very top submitted by my friend Jason Williams. And the quote said this: habits are not a finish line to be crossed. They are a lifestyle to be lived. And as I read that, I thought how fitting that is, because my guest today, Sean Michael Crane, is all about that. He's all about creating a lifestyle in fitness, a lifestyle where you're free. He's all about creating a lifestyle that takes you to that next level through habits, through disciplines. He understands that it's not about a finish line to be crossed. It is a lifestyle to be lived. And what's interesting about my man Sean is Sean actually spent 5.5 years in prison. He was wrongfully convicted. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison, completely uprooted his life. And now here he is, three years removed from that. And he's been able to create a business. He's been able to impact others around the world. He's speaking on TEDx stages. It's amazing what Sean's been able to do. So I'm excited to bring him to you. He's also wrote an incredible book, but I'm excited to bring him to you. And I'm going to do that right in just a second. But first, before I do, you guys know what we got to do on this show. You know we got to dance. You know we got to get rocking and rolling. You know we got to get the body moving. You know we got to get the blood flowing. All of those things. So let's go. Come on. If you're out there working out right now, a little extra weight. Come on. Just put a little extra weight on there. Right, Sean? My man likes that, right? My man likes that. He's like, let's go.
I can't dance.
If you're working out right now, if you're running, run a little bit faster, all right? Run a little bit harder. If you were laying in bed and you were just laying there listening, I need you to get your rear end up. Let's go. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest, all right? This is also the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button, all right? I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. So if you're on Clubhouse, hit the plus button in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Of course, if you're on Facebook, you know what you got to do. All right? And most importantly, this is the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, maybe you're watching over on YouTube, maybe you're listening to the podcast, however you're tuning in, I want you to say what's up, and I'll say what's up back. Fair enough? Fair enough. Woo, packed house this morning. That's what I'm talking about. Angela Heath, good morning. Great to see you. What's up, Don Sankey? Great to see you as well. I see Julie Lentini is up in here this morning. I've got Lolita Walker is in the house. What's up, Brad Smith and Marilyn Wilkin? Michael Huey is up in here. We've got Megan DiMartino. We've got Mandy Housley, Treva Wilson, Lydia Best. We've got Vicky Everett is in the house. Nathaniel Banks, Linda LaBonds. Oh, my goodness. And over on Clubhouse, it's packed. We've got Amanda Dahl. We've got Dr. Sean Shapiro. We've got Cammie in the house today. How you doing, Cammie? Great to see you. We've got Jeff Moffitt in here. Barbara in the red dress is in here with us today. Great to see you, Barbara. What's up, Vicky? Barbara, great to see you as well. And my man Dan is in the building. I see Lucienne is up in here as well. I see Scott and Debbie and Solana and Annette. I see Evan and the Heiress. I see Lydia and Monty and Armando and Rania and Amanda and Wendy and Teresa and Ronaldo. Golly, Sharon Falk is up in here this morning. I see Dominique. I see Tom and Debbie and Marcy and JK. I see Betty and Myra and Karen. And the one and only Molly Dare is up in the house. And what's up, Alejandro? Great to see you as well. Man, packed house up in here today. Super glad you're all here virtually. Do want to let you know that you could be with us physically, IRL, in real life, all right? Physically in real life. Oh, that is weird. I've never had my computer do that before, ever. That is weird. All right, but you can meet us in New York City, July 29th and 30th, all right? July 29th and 30th at the Lab Summit, the Listening and Beyond Summit. If you want more information about that, just DM me the word summit, and I can give you more details. But we're going to be in New York City, July 29th and 30th. It's going to be amazing, and I hope to see you there. With that said, we've been talking all week about freedom and independence, and we're going to continue that conversation as we go into 4th of July weekend with my man Sean Crane. Let's dive in.
To be the best version of yourself.
Dude, Sean, what do you think about this show? You're in California. It's 2:40 in the morning. You're on with some crazy guy who's dancing and screaming all over the place. What are you thinking, man? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing amazing, honestly. You got me pretty fired up this morning, Glenn.
Yes, I love hearing that. You got up nice and early for us. I appreciate you.
Yeah, so I'm on the West Coast. My son actually had a friend staying the night. I told him they could stay up and play games, and They were still up when I woke up to do this interview, man. So I had to put them to bed real quick.
Yeah, man, I know how that is. I got an older daughter. She'll stay up all hours of the night, man. I used to be able to do that when I was a kid. Well, I appreciate you this morning. I know I threw some curveballs at you. I got you up very early. We got you on to Clubhouse. Reminder on Clubhouse: make sure you mute and unmute. Right, unmute when you're talking, mute it back when you're not, so we don't have the feedback loop, which I greatly appreciate, dude. So, Sean, you've got a crazy story, man. Right now, you're doing a lot of things, right? Like right now, you're coaching, helping people with their fitness. You're getting ready to speak on stages all over the country. You've got things booked up. You made a massive impact on this planet. You're married. You're raising kids. Like right now, you're doing a lot of incredible things. Writing books, right? You're doing a lot of incredible things right now. But this wasn't necessarily the case just a few years ago. So talk to us, man. Give us the story of how Sean Crane ends up in a jail cell locked away for 5.5 years.
Yeah, wow. What a start, right, to this journey. I mean, first of all, Glenn, I'm blessed, man. Every day I get to do what I love, and every day feels like a gift. I cherish this journey. And it's because of those experiences, those trials and tribulations I went through early on in my life. So growing up in Santa Barbara, California, I live in a beautiful community. This is where I still reside. And I had every opportunity in the world to literally be what I wanted and pursue my dreams. And as a kid, I loved sports. I surfed, I played baseball, I played football, I played basketball. And I wanted to be a professional baseball player. That was my dream. And those dreams were somewhat shattered as I got older and I realized my parents were battling addiction. And I didn't know how to handle that. It really affected me. And as I got into high school, my first month, my whole home life broke apart. My father went to prison. My mother left the house. She basically abandoned us. Her addiction took hold of her. And I was lost. I didn't know what to do or how to deal with that situation. And I started numbing myself as best I could because I couldn't accept that reality. And that led me down a really dark path.
How old were you then, Sean?
I was 14.
14? Right on, okay.
So it was my freshman year in high school and my whole world changed. And I started abusing drugs and alcohol myself, hanging out with different kids. I stopped going to school. I even stopped going home for a time because I didn't want to be reminded of what had taken place those last couple of years. And I really lost myself. And this was at an age where I was really supposed to be identifying with who I was and who I wanted to be and growing into that person. And I did the opposite. I shut down from the world. And then that was my life from 14 until 23, just drifting through life. I felt like the world was just beating me down and I couldn't escape that reality for myself. So that led me to a party in an area known as the Mesa in Santa Barbara, which is a beautiful area. We were at a party one night and I didn't really know anybody there, but I had gone to socialize and whatnot. We were drinking and partying. That was my lifestyle then. I had nothing else that I aspired to do, honestly, Glenn. And, deep down inside, I knew I was capable of more. And I had that kid at heart that I truly wanted to be and embody, but I was just broken. I didn't know how I could get myself unstuck and move through that pain that I had been facing and that trauma that I experienced.
Yeah, I get it.
So this night at the party, there was a big fight and there was stabbings and people were getting assaulted, and I got caught up in the melee and tackled to the ground, and I thought I was being jumped. And through that process, I ended up getting assaulted and having another individual's blood on me. And based on what the witnesses at the party said they saw and the police report, suddenly I was being charged with an attempted murder that I did not do, and I was looking at a life sentence in prison.
Wow, that's crazy, man. What's going through your head, man? What's going through your head? Like you're arrested, you're in jail, they're telling you attempted murder. Like what? I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I was in complete shock. It was almost too surreal to grasp that it was happening to me. It was a nightmare. You hope you're gonna wake up. It has to be a dream, but it wasn't. And every day I'd wake up and I was in that jail cell, and it just smelled. It was cold. I was alone. Now I was coming off drugs and alcohol, and I was at an all-time low. And the first day I went to court, my lawyer walked up to me, and the first thing they said is, the district attorney and the judge are talking about amending your charges to homicide. It doesn't look like the victim is going to make it.
Oh man. Wow.
And when I heard those words, I couldn't even interpret or really like understand the impact of what they were saying. I was pretty numb and in shock at that point.
Dude, I mean, I can only imagine. And so and this was, you said you were like 23?
Yeah, I was 23 years old.
Golly, man. So 1 minute you're out partying, you're living it up, you're California dreaming, you're looking good, you're surfing when you want to, you're athletic, chasing the girls, all of that, drinking, drugging, partying it up. Next thing you know, you're in a freaking jail cell, which, bro, I've been there. I've been to jail 17 times. Right, 17 times. 16 of those times were just one night stays, right? Just for stupid stuff that I was always out doing when I was young. So I know that smell that you're talking about. I know the body odor. I know the sounds that we hear, right? It's awful. So here you are, 23. The world's like, what the heck? You're in prison. Lawyers telling you they're looking at homicide. So the person didn't make it, or did they end up making it?
Yeah, he survived. It was honestly a miracle. I mean, those reports that came out that said they had to use the defibrillators, that he actually died 3 times on the way to the hospital, and they brought him back to life, and he was in a coma, and thank God he survived, and he made a full recovery.
Golly. So now here you are. The reality's starting to set in. This is some pretty serious stuff. You're going to be going through it. I can't even imagine what's going on with your family during this season. What are they doing? Are they freaking out, or what's going on there?
Yeah, everybody was freaking out. They were in shock. Everyone assumed that the truth would come out and that I would be released. And so they were trying to scramble and figure out, what they could do to support me, who needed to come forward and speak to the police or the district attorney, because there was a lot of people that knew the truth, but no one wanted to come forward and talk about it. And so that was where their mind was at. Like, how can we get Sean out of there?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think as we head into the 4th of July weekend, right, it's a celebration of freedom and independence. And I think that until you've had that completely stripped away from you, you don't realize how special it is, right, to have freedom and independence. Because when you get locked up, man, it's a whole different ball game. You're like, man, you can't get a message out. If you're trying to get a message out, you can't get the message out. It's just different, man. It's different. For those of you that have never been there, it's a completely different place. So, all right, so take us forward, man. So you're thinking the truth's going to come out at some point. You're going through the court case. I'm assuming that takes a little bit of time. Most court cases do, and then you get to that final moment, right, where you're standing there. We've all seen it, where the person that's being tried stands up, and they read a verdict, and they find you guilty at that point. Talk to us about that moment.
Yeah, so you talk about freedom, Glenn. I mean, every day I'm reminded of that experience, and that's where my gratitude stems from. Every day is a gift. This is my second chance, man. I'm going to make it count. So my journey began in that jail cell alone, and I was in that cell for 8 months before I knew what was going to happen to me. And I was looking at a life sentence, and they weren't talking about anything different for the first 4 to 6 months. It was me going back and forth to court, shackled up on that bus. And, my transformation began in that cell with nothing. And I had to work through so much stuff from my past. So very early on, I started to immerse myself in this world I was discovering within myself. There was no phone, there was no TV, there was no distractions. And I started really, analyzing myself and thinking, how did I get to this point? This wasn't supposed to be my life. This isn't who I am. I'm not a bad person. And I started peeling back these layers, and really delving into my past and working through a lot of the trauma that I had suppressed. And I started to feel immense gratitude in that cell early on. I recognized that this could be a life-changing opportunity, a second chance to do things differently. And before I even knew how much time I was going to do in prison, I made a deep promise, a commitment to myself that I would never again hold back or live as an inferior version of myself, because I left so much on the table. I had so many opportunities that I never pursued, and I experienced a profound form of regret for holding back in my life. it wasn't the life sentence, Glenn, that was really daunting in that moment. What
Mm-hmm.
shocked me the most was the regret that I felt for the way I had chosen to live my life. Because I thought I had more time. I thought I could just change suddenly and pursue my dreams, pursue my passions, and that didn't happen. So I was getting very focused on pursuing like a better version of myself every day in that cell. No matter what I was doing, anything I could do to the best of my ability, I would take action on it. And so it was that mindset shift that started to take place. It was an internal shift. And then fast forward through those
That's
6 to 8 months.
powerful, bro. That's really powerful. You decided at that time, like, I'm never again gonna hold back. I love those words, man. I love those words. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going. I think that's really, really powerful.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did, because I made two promises to myself in that cell. The first one, that I would never again, not even for a second, Glenn, hold back from my true self, because I had done that for 10 years. I was living as a shadow of the person I could have been, and it killed me, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I made that promise to myself that I'm going to always be true to who I am. I'm never going to do things to impress others. I'm never going to allow fear and doubt to hold me back, because I associated those things with leading me to that jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a powerful shift in my perspective. And then the second promise I made to myself was that I would never touch drugs or alcohol ever again, because those things limited me and they weren't helping me. I thought they helped me early on in life to numb myself, to cope with what I was going through.
Sure.
But they weren't helping me, and they were going to hold me back, and I knew that. So that was 9 years ago. I've been clean and sober ever since that moment.
Nice.
Never touched a drop of alcohol or any substance. And so here I am going through this transformation. I'm so immersed in these feelings, these emotions, this perspective shift and mindset shift that is taking place. And so by the time I got to my sentencing, it wasn't like what you see in the movies where you stand up in front of the judge and they hit the gavel and sentence you. It was my lawyer coming to talk to me in a visitation room saying, hey, they're willing to give you 7 years in prison. You'll do about 6. If you don't take this plea deal, which means you have to admit guilt, then they're going to take you to trial and probably give you a couple decades in prison if you're found guilty.
Yeah.
So if I hadn't gone through that shift in my thinking and the way I was feeling about myself and my life, I might have tried to fight it and still been in denial. But at this moment, I was ready to take on that time in prison and use it to my advantage. And I was looking at this experience as something that was saving my life, that was happening for me, not to me. And so I knew in that moment that I had to take that plea deal, and this was going to be the defining moment of my life. Who I became going forward and what I was able to do with this experience, this life, depended on how I was going to show up every day from that moment forward. And that's where my real journey began.
Yeah, man. And that's what a brave and bold statement to be like, you know what? I'm going to take this and I'm going to use it for my good. It's going to be a good thing for me, right? And then to be able to, like, because I could see the frustration. I could understand the frustration being not in your shoes at that extreme, but being on the other side of the judicial system. I know the frustrations that come along with that. And so, for you to mentally be tough enough to, say, all right, you know what? I'm going to take this on the chin. I'm going to take this on the chin and I'm going to use it to ultimately become the best version of myself that I can possibly be. That's a very brave, bold thing to do versus playing a victim role where you're like, this sucks, this is miserable, like this is ruining my life. You saw it as a moment to define your future, which is absolutely incredible. Sean, I love that about you. So let's fast forward just a little bit, because these interviews here on Rise and Grind, they're pretty short. We don't have a whole lot of time. We got 30 minutes, and everybody's got to get off to their day. We'll go talk a little bit more over on Clubhouse when we're done. But let's fast forward just a little bit. So you served your time. While you were in, was there any moments for you where you were just where the frustration came back, where you were like, this is ridiculous, or were you able to keep that solid, strong mindset all the way through? And if so, how'd you do that? What was the daily things that you were doing to keep your mind strong?
Yeah, so for the most part, I was very focused and determined, and I knew that I had found something special within myself very early on in that jail cell. I found this energy, this part of me that I didn't know existed. And so my whole mission while I was incarcerated was to continue to keep that energy alive, that desire, that passion to live a better life. I had to cultivate that and connect to that version of myself every day. Because if I didn't, my surroundings, the negativity, everything would just wear me down, and it would be a depressing 5 years, a long 5 years. So every morning I started getting up early before anyone else to have some solitude and time to reflect and be alone. And I would get up at about 4 a.m. and I would just pray and meditate. And I started developing this morning routine that what I refer to as putting on my armor. So prison's such a negative place and it's unpredictable. And I didn't want to catch myself in a moment where I wasn't in control of my mental or emotional state because my life was on the line. It was survival to the extreme. So I had to be at my best, 100%, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, every day. And this led me to developing routines, my morning routine of prayer, meditation, journaling and self-reflection, all these things to help me to like purge any negativity and just really center myself before I stepped out of that cell. And so I would do that. And I started doing that every day. And what happened was I was able to tap into gratitude every day for being alive, for the simple things that we overlook on a daily basis. And it made me feel good about myself. It made me feel happy. And I was honestly happier in those jail cells, Glenn, than I had ever been in my life. So when that happened, I knew that I was onto something life-changing. And I continued with that process daily. And through that morning routine, I was able to grow and learn so much about myself. And it really, gave me an advantage in that setting. I was able to take control of my mental and emotional state to the point where I was then able to focus on things within my control that I could do every day to better myself, like read, write, educate myself, take college courses, anything that I could do within my control, I immersed myself into. And I didn't waste many minutes at all in those 5 years dwelling on the past or thinking about the future and being anxious about what might be. I was immersed in the moment, and it changed everything for me because of that.
Golly, man, what an incredible lesson that is for all of us, right? Did you guys hear that? Did you take the notes? Are you with me this morning? First of all, he let out with the morning routine, which I'm just saying, I've been screaming this from the mountaintops for a while now. Change the way you start your day. It makes a massive impact in your life, right? You notice, Sean and I have never spoken before, but you notice he hit the same key points that we talk about every day, right? You got to get right mind, body, and spirit first thing in the morning. Build that solid foundation. Put on your armor, right? So incredibly important. Doesn't matter whether you're in a jail cell. Doesn't matter whether you're married with kids. Doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter what situation you're in your life. If you can solidify that solid foundation first thing in the morning, it's so crucially important. But then what I love that Sean just shared is he didn't spend any time looking backwards. None. He didn't have time for that. He couldn't get caught up in that. He had to be in the present and take full advantage of every opportunity he had to grow, to educate, to expand his mind. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're going to be taking this conversation over to Clubhouse. Before we do, two things I want to do. One question and then one thing that we like to do on here. So talk to us real quick, and we could talk more about some of that other stuff over on Clubhouse. But Sean, so what are you doing with your life like now? What are you creating? Obviously, you've got your book out, right? Prison of Your Own, Break Free of Limitations and Unlock Your True Potential. So we've got the book. Everybody needs to go grab a copy of that book. We can get that where? Amazon? Can we get that on Amazon?
Yeah, it's available on Amazon.
All right, everybody go grab a copy of Sean's book today, Prison of Your Own, Break Free of Limitations and Unlock Your True Potential. Go check that out. And now, Sean, obviously you're speaking and you're sharing your story. You're doing those things. What else are you into right now, and how can we best support and connect with you?
Yeah, Glenn. So right now I run a coaching program. I work with men all around the world. And we're focused on these same mental strategies that I just discussed with you. Ultimately, how to find more gratitude and fulfillment in our lives by breaking through those mental barriers and really getting crystal clear on the men we want to be and taking action daily through those routines that we just discussed. So I do my coaching, and then obviously speaking and sharing this message is something that I'm passionate about, because I know a lot of people feel the way I felt before prison, that they're going through the motions, maybe they're stuck. They know that they're capable of more, but they don't know to bridge that gap. Like, what are the things we can actually do to build momentum and move towards that life we truly want for ourselves? I want to get on stage across the world and share this message with people in the hopes that I can inspire or help some of those individuals, even just one, Glenn, to make a shift in the way they're living so that they don't get to the end of their life and have those regrets that I experienced in my jail cell, because those will devastate them and they won't get a second chance like I did. So that's my mission right now, is to reach as many people as I can across the world and share my message, and so that I can inspire change.
Man, that's incredible, man. You guys got to connect with Sean. You got to support what he's got going on. I love that, man. Bridging that gap, right? Everybody knows that there's more. I want to evolve. I want to become the best version of myself that I can possibly be, but I need some practical application steps. And who better than to teach you some practical application steps than a guy who was able to spend 5.5 years in a prison cell, right? 5.5 years in a prison cell that could have made him hard, could have made him negative. He was in there for reasons he shouldn't even have been in there. Most of us would have played a victim role, and instead he was able to put the pieces together and step into the best version of himself, and now he's making an impact on others. So who better than learn from than a guy? Sean, that's such a unique perspective that you have, that you bring to the universe. I freaking love it, man. I love that this is what you're choosing to do with your life. I know it's going to make a massive impact. So Sean, I want to do something real quick. I'm going to put you up on top of a mountain, all right? I want you to just imagine you're on top of a mountain, and all of civilization, literally, like all of civilization is at the base of the mountain, right? And they're literally cheering your name. They're like, Sean Crane, Sean Crane, Sean Crane, Sean Crane, right? It's everybody, right? And they're cheering. They're like, woo! And somebody walks over and they hand you a microphone. And they say, Sean, you have 2 minutes, bro. You have 2 minutes to drop something on them. Practical application wisdom. Something they can apply in their life today, this week, this month, this year. What are you going to tell them?
I love this, Glenn. So this is my message. This is what I believe in my heart and what I did to change my life in that jail cell. We have this vision, this dream, this feeling inside of us that's always calling us to be greater, to do more, to expand, right? To take action. But what happens early on in life is those dreams that we had as children suddenly start to fade away, or we're challenged by things like fear, doubt, being insecure. And what I've noticed is over time, we condition that fear through action or inaction that's in alignment with that fear. I believe that our intuition is a roadmap to our greatest self. And those dreams that you have are feasible as long as you take action that aligns to that intuition. That's what I started doing in my jail cell. I recognized the fear and the self-doubt had plagued me, and it had led me to that cell. And I just started paying attention to what my heart was calling to do. And that meant any small little action every day to the best of my ability. I had to start with the smallest, simplest things first in order to believe in myself that this journey was possible, that I could create a life I love and cherish. So I started with the smallest things every day, and I did them consistently to the best of my ability. This gave me confidence in who I was and who I was becoming. This gave me a belief that if I continue to better myself every day, I can get out of this cell and create a new life for myself. And so that massively transformed my mindset and my perspective, because now I was in control of my life. I was no longer a victim or a bystander on the sidelines watching my life pass me by. I was in the game, taking action. And a lot of times people get daunted if they've gone through, a year or decades of being stuck. Where do I start? How do I get out of this moment? And we just wait because we think of that end result we want and it seems so far away. When in reality, there's so many little things in front of you that you can do to start building that momentum. So what I would say to anyone who feels like they're capable of more and they know that feeling inside that I'm describing that's calling them to be more, what is the simplest first step that you can take? That's all you need to focus on. It's that one moment where you make a decision to do something different and take that other course of action that you've been avoiding. Not the one that's going to lead you to regrets, not the one that's going to lead you to making excuses, because that's going to devastate you in the end when you look back on the life you could have lived versus the one you chose to live.
My man, Mike dropping it over from the mountaintop for all of humanity. Bro, just comes down to that simplest first step. What is that simplest first step? that you can do to take control of your life. Dude, Sean, you, my man, are clearly, man, a child. I believe we are all children of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And God designed us to be the absolute best versions of ourselves we could possibly be. And you're clearly stepping into that every day, man, leaning into that. Holy, like it comes out of you. It's amazing. We can see it, you stepping into your greatness and the impact that it's making on this planet. So, bro, I love you. Thank you so much for being here with us on hashtag Rise and Grind. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you on our show today.
Likewise, Glenn, I really appreciate this moment right here, man, getting to talk with you. It's been an honor, and I'm very grateful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Hang out for just a second in the green room, then we're going to go over to Clubhouse. Hey, that was my man, Sean Crane. Dude, you got to go grab the book, right? Prison of Your Own, Break Free of Limitations and Unlock Your True Potential. Connect with Sean on his socials. You can follow him over here on Clubhouse. Connect with him on his socials. Learn more about his programming. If you're looking to fill that gap, right? You're like, I'm here. I want to get here. I'm having trouble with these steps in between, especially you men out there. If you're struggling with that little tiny step, what is that first step? Sean can help. So connect with Sean. And then, of course, Rise and Grind fam, blow him up today. If he moved you in any way, shape, or form, send him an encouraging message. Thank him for being on hashtag Rise and Grind. Blow Sean out. All of those amazing things. Look, we've been talking about freedom and independence all week. It is an inside job, folks. It's an inside job. It starts on the inside, right? You got to work on who you are. You got to step into those things. You got to rid yourself of those limiting beliefs, those fears, those doubts, those things that are holding you back from being the best version of you that you can possibly be. So listen, enjoy your weekend, 4th of July weekend, my favorite weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Have an incredible, incredible time. And then come back here again Monday morning, and we'll do this all over again on hashtag Rise and Grind. Have an incredible day. Thank you.